everybody, it's Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with the Thursday edition of Today in Sports Betting. As always, I'm joined by my partner in crime, the host with the most, the one and only Scott Reichel. Scott, are you able to contain your excitement about today's basketball card?
Well, they have one of my favorite teams on TV again, so I'm definitely
Is it Golden State, Scott? Is it Golden State?
We'll save that for later on in the video when we start talking about the games. But college basketball, really not the greatest card. I've seen better. I know I still gave out a play on it in one game that I liked, so if you want to check that out, you can. But other than that, though, I think we both agreed that we're going to be talking about the NBA exclusively today.
Yeah, it's a tough college card. There's a lot of games. There's just a lot of games that just they're trash. I don't know what other way to say them. You know, I said right before the show, because we were lamenting about not really having anything that we loved on this college card, other than the couple picks that we took. We said that, there's a winner in every game, but I think the lines are sharp today, and there's a lot of games. The biggest problem is, there's a lot of games with two trash teams involved, and It's just impossible to say how they're going to go with any confidence, at least for you and I. So
this is the kind of card that I wish Mississippi Valley State was playing on, but it's not. So, you got to just deal with what you can.
I need somebody to fade, man. I need somebody to fade. It's weird. There's only 4 games on the NBA card, but I think we like the plays there quite a bit. There's a couple of decent plays.
Also, a couple of really, really bad teams on the card, but we'll get into that in a bit.
Oh, there is. So real quick, you wanted to talk about anything on this college card about the teams that we've looked at and discarded? I mean, you and I were looking at KU minus 14.5 over TCU. They beat TCU by 30 the first time, but you want to bet on
I can't touch it because Kansas is completely falling apart.
Right. You want to bet on this KU team? You've got a good San Diego State team laying 15 against Wyoming. That seems like a lot. Wyoming's been trash.
I think Oregon State getting the points against USC does look pretty intriguing. I know it's at 12 right now. I wrote an article about it. I like Oregon State plus the points, but I'm not sure if I'm going to go to the window with it yet. We'll see. But as of right now, nothing really jumped off the page and just said I have to bet it.
Yeah.
UTSA minus 1 against UTEP looks a little bit tempting because I know UTSA has been very good at home. UTEP is UTEP, so they're not really good at any sport. I just think UTSA is a little bit too much offensive firepower. I know UTEP might be without a couple players as well for a concussion and stuff like that. So I probably look at UTSA, but once again, nothing really jumps off the page as a must-bet situation for me.
Any interest in getting involved in Tulane at plus 17.5 against Houston?
No, because Houston's one of my favorite teams in the country, so I wouldn't do that. You got Gonzaga playing, so if you think they're going to win by 90, you can take them against San Diego. I thought about doing it.
It's not the good San Diego either, by the way.
Yes, it is not the good San Diego.
It's the
not
Toreros.
The State. It is the regular Toreros who are awful against Gonzaga, who is a threat to win by 50 every game they play.
Yep, exactly. So, all right, so that's pretty much how you and I spent the last 20 minutes talking about this card.
We're trying to think of if there's any games actually talking about making the video worthy of actually doing something separate, and it's just right. No, there isn't.
I've got a play from that Oregon State game on my premium side, and then my play of the day is I'll just go out and say it. It's fading Winthrop. So
okay.
The 15-0 team, I decided to go ahead and fade them. So
at least you're not fading Drake.
Love the Drake.
Of course. Still undefeated ATS.
Drake covered last night too, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
I saw they're out to a big lead. I didn't see the final, but I assumed they covered. So
what a team.
What a team, man.
They might make a Sweet 16. I mean, this team is really good. Hopefully they don't choke in their conference. It would be a shame if they somehow ran the table in the regular season and then proceeded to just lose in their conference.
Here's how hot Drake is. I had a premium play on him day before yesterday, and they still won.
Yeah,
so that's they were able to overcome my jinx. So, All right, buddy. Well, let's take a look at the NBA card then, shall we? We've got a couple of TV games. Starting off with another game that I have a premium on. It's the Portland Trailblazers and the Houston Rockets. Rockets are now a 4.5-point favorite in this one. Scott, kind of a new look Rockets team here. This team has gone from a 3-point favorite last night up to 4.5 today. Do you agree with the line move there?
Well, when you say yesterday, I think you mean 2 days ago when
What's
they
that?
beat the Wizards. That wasn't yesterday. That was 2 days ago.
What?
You said Houston. They went from a 3.5-point favorite yesterday.
Yesterday, they were a 3-point favorite over Portland.
Oh, my bad.
Now
Okay.
they're a 4.5-point favorite.
I thought you meant in their game yesterday. My bad. Yeah.
Stop helping me.
Okay. Well, I wasn't apparently. Apparently, I was not helping at all. But yeah, I see.
Confusing the old man.
It happens. Anyway, Houston's now at 4.5. I know there's been a lot of money on the over. It's gone from 227.5 to around 229.5. At the end of the day, I think this Portland team stinks, especially with all the injuries that you currently have. Portland might be 9-7. You have no McCollum, no Nurkic, and now no Covington. This team's front court in this game, projected starting lineup, Melo and Cantor, which might be one of the worst defensive front courts you can possibly imagine. I think Portland's not very good, even when they were fully healthy. I thought that people overrated them all season long. Houston, I mentioned in their last game against Washington, where I took them, that this team might not be great on paper. This team plays hard. And at the end of the day, sometimes it's all you need. That's why the Knicks have been competitive this year, even though they have no talent. It's because they just seem to actually play hard and they compete. And Houston seems to kind of bonded together for a mutual hatred of Harden. Because ever since he left, this team kind of seems to actually get along with each other. So I like Houston. I watched Portland play against the Knicks. They almost blew a huge lead there. They lost to Oklahoma City at home in the last game. I don't think Portland's very good. I like Houston here. I think Houston wins this game by at least 6.
You know what there was over the last 3 games, Scott? There was a Boogie Cousins sighting.
There was, and he was not completely useless.
Great on the boards. Actually scored a few points his last 2 games, but he had double-digit rebounds his last 3 games. And now Christian Wood's going to be back. Scott, tell our viewers that some of them may not be familiar with Christian Wood. Tell us a little bit about Houston's leading scorer right now.
So Christian Wood kind of bounced around a lot early in his career, ever since he came out of UNLV. He was on Detroit last year, kind of bursted onto the scene a little bit, played well. And before that, he was on Milwaukee. According to Bucks fans, he was good, but he never actually played. Went to Detroit, had a very solid season, and then Houston paid him a decent amount of money during the course of the offseason, and people were confused at why they paid him that much money. And it turns out averaging 23.5 points and 10.8 rebounds is a pretty good reason to pay somebody. And Wood's been, I'd say, the favorite to win Most Improved Player this year.
No, it certainly is. He certainly got the lead at the.
It's either him or Jaylen Brown. I think those are the main
poll here. Yeah,
Jaylen Brown's been great as well. But,
yeah, and it's probably kind of freaks out people in Houston to see a presence in the middle.
Yep.
They're not used to seeing a center. So let me ask you a quick question before we move on. Any way you can work Cousins and the Christian Wood into the lineup at the same time?
I think you could. It could because of the fact that if you look at Wood's numbers, he's shooting over 36% from 3. So it's not like he's just an absolute stiff down there. Having said that, I don't really think you should in today's NBA have 2 big men. That's why I'm not a big fan of the Lopez-Giannis combination there, even though Lopez is just a 3-point shooter from the outside. But against Portland, you don't really need to. You got Melo and you got Cantor in there. If you just go small, you'll kill them in the pick and roll. I don't think you really need to put both of them in the lineup. So I think it's more of a matchup thing. But at the end of the day, I don't know how many minutes Wood's going to play. I know that he missed the last 3 games. Apparently, he's close to 100% healthy, according to reports.
Right.
I'm assuming he'll be on a slight minute restriction. I think he'll probably play around 28 minutes. I think that's a fair guess.
That seems about right. It might be a little high, maybe closer to 25. I don't know.
Either way, though, he should have a double-double and probably put up 18 to 20 points.
Yeah, I think and Covington was officially graded as out as of this morning. That was a That's been if there is any news from this game, that's been the new news. That's been the new news. He went from questionable to out with that concussion.
And he's their best defender. So
yeah.
Portland has an offensive issue because besides Lillard, this team is nobody. And now its best defender is out as well. I know that money's coming in on Houston. That involves you backing a pretty underwhelming Houston team on paper. This Houston team's crafty, and I don't think Portland's very good.
Agreed.
So I like Houston.
All right, very good. Any thoughts on the total at all?
I'll lean over. You've already seen about 2 points of line moves there. I just think Portland can't guard a high school team.
Terrible
And
defense.
you have Cantor and Melo now playing extended minutes, and neither of those guys can guard anybody. So I think it could be a long afternoon or long evening for Portland's defense there. I like the over.
All right, very good. Yeah, it's hard to get involved with an under when Portland is playing. Even though this Houston defense has gotten better, I don't expect great things out of Portland, but it's hard to back an under against Portland. It really is. All right, so our second TV game, Scott. It's I'll let you tell everybody who it is because I know you're excited about it because you don't get to see him much.
Mm-hmm. So the Phoenix Suns and a team that I have not seen on TV once this entire season, the Golden State Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
They're what is it? Their third straight game on TV, fourth straight game on TV, ninth straight game on TV. It feels like every game they play is on television.
I swear I caught them on Netflix yesterday. I think they're everywhere, dude.
I thought I saw them on Hulu. So I don't even know anymore. But at some point, I'm not gonna rant about it. I've done it before, but whatever. Weren't you thrilled to see Minnesota on TV yesterday?
Oh, couldn't have been happier.
Thrilling.
Couldn't have been happier with to see Flop and the guys go at it.
And shocker, they lost by double digits again.
So let's talk about this Warriors team, man. They're 10-8. Scott, are they in a position to make any kind of noise at all? First of all, are they gonna make the playoffs?
I said about 2 days ago I thought that Golden State would finish around 500.
Yeah.
There's 72 games, so 36 and 36, 37, 35 sounds about right.
Math checks out.
Finish at around, carry the 2, about a 7 seed, give or take.
Okay.
It depends on how you define noise. I think they'll make the playoffs because I think.
Okay. Well, that's a start. That's something that they didn't do last year. So.
Well, do you know how many awful teams there are in the bottom of each conference? There are some really bad teams in each conference.
There's a lot, dude. There really is.
And there are some bad ones every year. But, I mean, you're talking about some teams who weren't even expected to be terrible. Like Sacramento's not very good. The Pelicans are a great example. Dallas stinks. I mean, even with Doncic and Porzingis, that team's not very good. You go down the line there, there's a lot of really bad basketball teams.
Who's the worst team in the league?
Right. Assuming full health or no?
Sure. Yeah.
Assuming full health, it's Detroit. As of right now, I think it's Minnesota. Because you have no Towns and everybody. I think that's the worst team. But assuming Towns comes back, Detroit's the worst team in the league.
Okay.
That team's useless.
The Wizards seem like they're underperforming. They've got some decent talent.
The Wizards are awful, but they also have a lot of COVID cases right now. So I know that Beal's dropping 47 and they still lose by double digits. Wizards are a bottom 3 team. But until I actually see Hachimura and some of these guys come back, I'm not saying that they're going to make a huge impact. But when you're missing like 5 bodies, that doesn't help. Detroit's healthy. Like that team is so beyond bad that they've been mostly healthy for the entire year, and they're still getting killed in every game. So at least the other 2 teams have alibis.
What's the most surprising shitty team to you? Is it?
It's got to be Dallas.
Is it?
I think it has to be. I mean, Doncic was my pick to win MVP this year.
What about Miami?
Miami's another one of those teams that people were surprised at, but at the end of the day, you have to wonder how much did they overachieve last year, and nobody's played. Like Hero and Butler have been out for what, 2 weeks?
Toronto?
I can't remember the last time Butler played.
How about Toronto sitting at 7-11?
That's the thing. Toronto has definitely been disappointing, but you also lost a bunch of pieces from
right. They traded some, but I'm just talking about
Marcus Gasol's not very good, but they had no interior defense at all to start the year. But there's a lot of surprisingly bad teams. I think Dallas surprised me the most. I know that they've also had some COVID issues, but I don't know why. I just thought Dallas would make a statement in a pretty open Western Conference.
Yeah, I think Porzingis, between being injured and just not playing like he did last year, has been the serious question there.
That's the thing, though. You look at the East and you say to yourself, of course the teams up top in the West might be better because you look at the Lakers, the Clippers. I think those are the 2 of the top 3 teams in the league. But the East from top to bottom, pretty tough for like 1 to 9 or so. So I'm not surprised that teams that have had serious injury issues are just missing some players. Plus, Toronto hasn't even been home. They're playing their home games in Florida. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. But I don't know. Maybe it's just Dallas because that team has not just been bad. That team's getting run out of the gym. And they have probably, a top 4 player in the league? Top 3 player in the league?
Yeah, certainly top 5 for sure.
That's a problem. So I'm going to go Dallas. But you have a solid argument for any of these teams that you just mentioned. Do you have a case for most disappointing good team?
Well, I mean, it depends on whether you go with what they achieved last year or their name. I think Miami being in the finals last year and being just buried this year is certainly is a contender. Toronto, like we talked about. Scott, I expected a little better out of the Pelicans. I probably expected them to sneak into the playoffs. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 500,
I did before they traded Drew Holiday. Once they did that, I just thought they were tanking at that point.
It's interesting because they've just been dreadful.
It's actually kind of ironic because I look at the Pelicans and I think the perfect player for that team right now is Drew Holiday, and they just traded Drew Holiday. I feel like he's a perfect fit for that team, but now, of course, it's a lost cause. But
what's your most surprising good team? Is it the Jazz leading the West?
I think it has to be
the East.
I think it has to be the Jazz because the 76ers on paper, you knew that if Embiid would stay healthy, this team would always be a threat to do something. He just never stays healthy. Utah has been, I don't even know, a world beater at this point. Yeah. I got to go Utah.
Oh, they're on a 10-game winning streak. So they were 500 3 weeks ago, and now they're 14-4.
I had Knicks money line against the Jazz 3 weeks ago, and the Knicks won. And I thought, wow, this Utah team stinks. Then ever since then, I don't think they've lost.
Last game they've lost.
Yeah, they've just been killing people. So I got to go Utah.
And they're a good team against the number too. I believe. I know when they were 9-0, they'd also covered all 9. I don't know about the 10th game if they covered the 10th game or not.
But. Yeah, so I'm going to go Utah.
Okay, very good. All right, so let's talk about this Golden State team a little bit here. Playing against a team, Scott, that I thought they'd be a little better maybe. In the Phoenix Suns, they're 8-8 right now, just kind of treading water.
Kind of falling apart lately, ever since they came back from COVID.
Yeah, that's and this has been a kind of a crazy season with COVID involved, and you just never know how these teams are going to handle the time off and how the players are going to come back, because that's the thing. You get these guys that test positive for COVID. Some of them have no symptoms at all. And, some of them have the respiratory issue, and that's obviously going to hurt your stamina. Mm-hmm. And it seems like they come back, but it still takes them another couple of weeks to get into actual game shape and kick the last of the symptoms. And this is the Phoenix Suns are going to be at home, a 2.5-point favorite. 220.5 is the total right there. Who do you like, Scott?
So Golden State, I've talked about what I think of this team and how it's a mediocre team. I actually like Phoenix, but I can't take Phoenix here. It's a matter of, even though I know that Golden State had to play yesterday, that game was a blowout after 3 quarters. So Golden State could kind of take its foot off the gas, rest some players for most of the fourth quarter. In the last 2 games, you beat Minnesota by 22 and 12. So, you can do whatever you want at that point. But Phoenix, I can't back. This team was in a nail-biter yesterday against Oklahoma City. Had to play starters a lot. 2 of its last 3 games have gone to overtime. It's lost 4 of its last 5. Each of its last 3 has a losing record at home. I can't take Phoenix here. This team has played each of its last 3 games at home. And I said before, it's lost all 3 of them. So I got to like Golden State here. Am I thrilled about it? No. The line movement I do find pretty fascinating. I can't take Phoenix right now. This team looks lost.
I want to know what's happened with what's going on with Devin Booker. I want to know if Booker's going to play or not. He's questionable right now for Phoenix. Like I said, this line has moved a point towards Phoenix. Phoenix is open at 1 and now.
Now Booker coming back could be the main reason why you have seen a line move. It could be baked in.
Yeah,
but
I think it is.
That's the thing, though. Booker is a solid player, of course. I'm a huge Booker guy, but how impactful do you think he is to the Suns team? Do you think he's extremely impactful? Do you think he's the most important player on the team? Do you think it's Chris Paul? What do you think?
No. He's I don't know, what do you call it? Good role player? What do you?
I can't Well, who? Chris Paul?
No, Booker.
But I don't think Booker's a role player. I think Booker is an all-star fringe superstar, but I don't think he'll ever be the best player on a title contending team.
Well, I mean I mean he's not a role player like a sixth man, but I just don't know that he's ever going to, like you said, I don't know. That
I think he's second fiddle to a potential title team.
Is he irreplaceable?
That's the issue you have to talk about with Booker, is that ever since they switched offenses and they kind of switched to this half court, that's why I kind of was referring to Paul maybe being the most important player on the team. This team seemed to really, really hit its stride last year with Booker when it was going up-tempo in the bubble, and this team was starting to play track and meet basketball. And this year, they're playing at the second slowest pace in the league. Booker's still shooting 47.3% from the floor, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just wrong here, but he's averaging 22.9 points per game. I just feel like Booker should be having a better year. I mean, the last 2 years, he averaged 26.6.
Right.
And he brought in Chris Paul. You're trying to share the ball a little bit more. But don't you think Booker or this offense isn't utilizing him properly?
It would seem that way. I mean, like you said, his numbers are still fairly well there.
They've just declined from the last couple of years.
Averaging 4 points less, but that's about a 20% decline. So, I think that's significant. As far as this game goes, it's kind of a weird spot for Golden State. This is a game that's in the middle of a 5-game homestand, and they had two with Minnesota at home. They play this one, and they go back to play Detroit and Boston there in Oakland. I'm going to take a spot here with Phoenix, Scott. I'm going to go the other direction.
I think the line movement definitely suggests that, but until I actually see Phoenix get back on track to some degree, I'm just not going to touch this team.
Yeah, they're both playing back to backs. The difference is Golden State had to travel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's good, and it's kind of a wild card with seeing where Booker is going to be. But
you think Booker plays?
I do. I do think he plays.
I think he does too.
I don't know how close to 100% he's going to be, but I will. I'll take the Phoenix Suns here to step up one time and take care of Golden State. Kind of a weird spot.
All right.
Any thoughts on the total?
I'll lean over. It's gone from 219.5 to 220.5. Once again, that's another reason why I think Booker's going to play.
Yep.
But I know Phoenix plays really slowly and the defense is good, but Golden State's been playing pretty fast this season. And some of these Golden State games lately have flown over the total. So for me, I'll lean to the over.
Okay, I'm with you. I think I'm gonna lean over as well. Golden State has had the over hit their last 4 or 5 of their last 6.
You think the Lakers murder the Pistons tonight? Didn't they have to, right? Lakers are going to be pissed off a loss.
Yeah, you would think the Lakers need to make a statement there. Good road team. I'm trying to see what the line.
Actually, 9.5.
It's gone down.
Yep.
Money coming in on Detroit. I've even got it at 9.
Mm-hmm. As far as I know, I don't see any reports on LeBron or AD not playing, so I haven't seen any rumors about that. I know Griffin's back in the lineup, so maybe that's why people like him, but Griffin's been awful this year.
Yeah, well,
Detroit's just a bad team.
Wasn't much last year either, but
I'm just saying Detroit's just a bad team. There's really not much to say about them. They're just awful at basketball.
Agreed. It seems like a sucker play to me, Scott.
Lakers have kicked my ass all year, so I don't know if I can play it, but if they win by 30 and I don't play it, then you could thank me later.
They are. Isn't that the game that I faded you on? Didn't you have the Lakers yesterday?
No, I said we both agreed we liked Philly.
Oh, I thought you were on the other side of that.
I said I thought Philly might win the game.
Okay, all right, because
they almost blew it, but they won the game.
Yeah, they tried their best, but and we talked about the Lakers being in. So you thought this would be the spot where they'd rest players?
I thought this would be the spot where they rest players, and
it's not going to happen. Not going to happen now after losing 2 straight.
I agree.
After losing yesterday.
I think if the Lakers would have won yesterday, I think LeBron AD would not have played today.
Probably.
But I think they're going to try to get back on track and just absolutely just destroy this team. And I think you'll agree that they don't exactly – they have a bitter taste in their mouth after – I don't want to say letting one slip through their fingertips, but when you're up 1 with about 10 seconds to go, you kind of did let one slip through your fingertips.
Yeah, this is a Detroit team that's not a dreadful defense, but they just unable to get anything going on offense.
I had the Cavs yesterday, so that was just free money.
I think I have a hard time not seeing the Lakers stepping up in this one.
Yeah.
So, all right, there you go. And that's it. There's what? Well, I guess we might as well. There's one more game, Scott.
I can't talk about it because both teams are missing 95 players. So I'm just going to pass on that one because the injury reports are too, I'd say, painful to look at.
The Clippers and Heat. Clippers, again, without Leonard and Paul George.
You might get Hero and Butler back. So maybe Miami, if both of them are going to play or one of them is going to play. I mean, I said I liked Atlanta in the last game against the Clippers because Clippers had nobody and Atlanta covered. But I'll lean Atlanta. It's lean Miami or nothing.
Yeah.
But that team lost by 27 yesterday to Denver at home.
Right.
I can't because I've seen Miami play. If you're scoring less than 90 points against the Nets, your offense isn't exactly worth writing home about.
I'm still salty about that, by the way.
Yeah, so am I. But, still, it's a matter of a lean Heat, but I would not touch that game anywhere near it.
That was the most painful basketball games I ever watched in my life.
Not pretty.
No, not at all. All right. So there you have it. That is the rundown of the complete NBA card, everybody. How about that? See, you were all disappointed that we didn't have a lot of college plays, but we made up for it by having a handicap in every NBA game on the board. So,
yep.
All right, my friend. Well, that's going to do it for us for today in sports betting. As always, if you're looking for more information into these games or any other games, don't forget to stop by and check out winnersandwhiners.com. One-stop shop for all things sports betting and sports betting related. And, of course, we wish you nothing but the best today. Hope every one of those tickets in your pocket turns into cash money. Bag of the window. You guys are great. We appreciate all the views. Appreciate you giving us the thumbs up. And if you would do that, it's a very good thing. Consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't done so already. And, for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at Winners and Winers, you guys have a great day. Cash those tickets. And, we'll see you tomorrow on Today in Sports Betting. Take care, everyone.